manifest at you and doing the practice over there.
It's very good that you're feeling this, because this feeling is precipitating a conflict in you.
Yeah.
If you're honest, you love being here.
Yeah.
But your mind is telling you that you shouldn't. So being here is precipitating a conflict. And the conflict is not what it appears to be. It is not the conflict about whether you should be here or sitting at home at Padma. It is feet. Baba's feet.
Okay, yeah.
The conflict is what you are loyal to.
Can you explain that more?
Yes. Up until now, you have been loyal to an object, a person. True loyalty is never to an object. And your understanding is now growing you beyond your previous loyalties. If you are loyal to an object or a person, you are not being loyal. You are simply perpetuating the ego. The only thing worthy of loyalty is the absolute truth of your experience. Loyalty to anything else is not loyalty, it's just servitude. It perpetuates the ego. So this is your choice now. This is the dilemma you're confronted with. Is your loyalty to a person, or is it to the absolute truth of your experience?
This is your question?
No, it's your question. You don't have to answer it. Don't answer it to me.
No. But
for you.
I mean, I feel like there's this. I'm also glad I'm asking you this question, because it's.
I don't mean to
all the time.
Sorry to interrupt you. I don't mean to disrespect your previous loyalty to your teacher. I know deeply, intimately, what it's like to feel loyal to a teacher. But at some stage, we have to grow beyond that. It serves a purpose early on in our spiritual practice. And a teacher, in my opinion, will for a certain amount of time allow that loyalty to him or her as a person, if he sees that it is, that he or she is like a placeholder, a temporary placeholder for that projection. But fairly soon, in my opinion, the teacher should turn that projection around, not allow it to grow roots that are too deep, because then the relationship between the so-called student and the so-called teacher subtly becomes one in which at least the separate self of the student, and possibly the teacher also, is subtly aggrandized and perpetuated by the dependent relationship. So I would encourage you to spend some time reevaluating your relationship to the truth, or reevaluating your relationship. Is it a relationship with the truth, the absolute truth of your experience? Are you more loyal to that, or are you more loyal to a person? And it's an uncomfortable place to sit, and I would encourage you to sit there. It's not just something you're going to face one afternoon at home. It will take some time, and it's uncomfortable, but I would encourage you to be courageous. What do you really want in life?
Well, I'm really glad that we're talking about it, and
Sorry?
I'm really glad that I
yes,
can talk
yes.
with you about it, and it's really personal, and it seems like centuries of conflicts between Buddhism and Advaita people are still taking place in a way, in me. I mean, and it's all space and consciousness, I know, but yeah.
I once asked my...
I know there is no, I cannot find the answer mentally, I know. Yes.
That may be true, but don't avoid thinking about this. Think about it. Yes, it's true that the real answer may come from somewhere deeper in you, but don't avoid the place that thought has to play in this process. In this particular question that you're faced with, I would recommend you think about it. I once asked, in fact, the very first teacher I ever asked, very first question I asked my teacher was, actually it wasn't the first, it was on the first occasion I met my teacher. I asked him this question. I was at the time married to a Vajrayana Buddhist. And there was a conflict between our two approaches, and it puzzled me because I had this intuitive understanding that there could never be conflict between two people, between two people's love of truth. I don't mean that there can't be conflict between two people, but that if two people were deeply in love with truth, with reality, there could never be any conflict there. So it puzzled me that I found myself in conflict with my companion at the time, my wife at the time, and who was in the Vajrayana Buddhist tradition, and he said there can never be conflict between two people who have realized the same truth, even if they express it in different ways. He said the conflict is never between lovers of truth, it's always between religions. It's always between the people who adhere to the form of the tradition and miss the essence of it. All those endless debates we read about between the Buddhists and the Advaitins, they're debates between, let's not say between people, but between ideas that are not representing the absolute truth of our experience. They may be informed to an extent by the truth of our experience, but they haven't gone all the way, and hence the conflicts. So if there is a conflict between what you hear in your Vajrayana community and what you hear here, don't pit two systems against each other and argue about which one's right. Use that conflict to find out for yourself, independent of this teaching and that teaching, what is true in your experience. And be loyal only to that. And as I say, I don't mean any disrespect to your teacher or teaching. I know what it's like to be loyal to a teaching and a teacher, but also to have to have emancipated myself from that. It takes some courage.